Hey guys, it's Ghost. So today my Vesuvian Cuisine unofficial cookbook actually came in, and I wasn't planning on making any videos on it until much later, but then my mom was like, hey, can you make dinner tonight? And so I just kind of dug through what we had and found a recipe that I can make. So that's what we're doing today. The recipe I will be making is from the entrees and soups section, and you can probably pause and just look at what's going on here. It is the fish pie. And because I tend to mess up my recipe books and get them dirty, and I don't want that to happen to this one, I just copied the recipe onto a recipe card so I don't have any problems with messing it up. In order to make this a full meal, I'll be making some soup and salad along with that. Also, you might have noticed, but I'm filming this on my phone. My camera is currently charging, and it's also really heavy, so I didn't really want to bring it down with me right now. Using stuff that I have already at home, I had this salmon, but it's not boneless, so it's going to be a little bit finicky to use. It's also still kind of frozen. I did leave this out on the counter, but it is cold today, so it did not thaw very well. So I'm just going to be putting this in the microwave and letting it thaw. The microwave in the oven, and my brother playing with a Rubik's Cube in the background. Say microwave in the oven, it's a microwave oven. It's a microwave oven. You can hear the microwave oven in the background, and also my brother playing with a Rubik's Cube. While the salmon is thawing in the microwave, I put in the celery leaves that I won't be using, as well as a bay leaf and some peppercorns in a pot full of water, and I'll be turning on the heat and letting that boil. Second thought, I've actually moved it to the left burner because I'm going to be using that one, and it's just easier to transfer from the cutting board to here, and I'm just going to leave that thing to boil anyway, so yeah, that's just going to be over here. I actually prepare the ingredients. So we have a stalk of celery, 4 potatoes, and about 1.5 carrots, and then like this much of an onion. I'll just be washing and chopping up the vegetables. Because I'm doing one-handed filming right here, I can't really show what's going on as I'm doing it, so I'm just narrating what I'm doing. So here I've chopped up the carrot. Next we have the potatoes. And finally we have celery. Here is the salmon after it's been thawed. It's still kind of frozen, but it'll be okay. What I'll be doing is I'll be removing the skin and as much of the bone as possible. After removing the skin and as much bone as possible, After removing the bones and the skin as much as possible, I've chopped the salmon up into bite-sized pieces, added my soy sauce and sesame oil, and gave it a good stir. Also, I totally forgot to chop the onions earlier, so I just went ahead and did that. So now I'm just gonna take the olive oil and I'm gonna be heating it in a large frying pan. Once the oil is nice and hot, I'm gonna add my almond flour. I've given this a good stir, so here I'm gonna add 1 cup of water to all the vegetables. I'm going to bring this to a simmer and allow it to simmer for about 2 or 3 minutes. After allowing this to cook, I'm going to add my salmon into the mix like so. And after I've added my salmon, I'm going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. While that's going on, I've added my almond flour and salt into a bowl, and I'm going to give this a quick mix. I then added the egg and the olive oil, and I gave it a good stir, and I also kneaded everything together. Alright, so I took 2 sheets of wax paper and I rolled out the dough in between, and I measured it to the baking dish, and it looks like a good size. Now is also a good time to preheat your oven. Usually recipes say to preheat the oven before everything, but I tend to take way too long and the oven just kind of gets fed up with me, so I just waited until now. So now I've put the filling in the baking dish. Now the instructions say to cut vents in the top of the pie. It's kind of impossible to do it super neat with this type of dough, but I kind of did my best to replicate what was in the picture. Yeah, this kind of thing is not possible with this dough, but I think it looks okay. I think my fish is pretty cute. Now the pie is in the oven. let's get back to the soup, shall we? So after letting the water boil for a little bit, I just, got the stalk from the celery and the bay leaf, and also got some flavor from the peppercorns. I've removed the celery and the bay leaf, and I've just left the peppercorns inside, and then I added a package of chicken broth. I'm going to add some mushroom, and I'm also going to add some chopped cabbage. To that, I've added some herb salt to season everything. And that's the soup. It's super simple. I did consider adding meat to this, and you can too if you want to. I feel like bacon would be really yummy, but I decided against it because I wanted to keep it simple. As for the aforementioned salad, it's just literally chopped up lettuce in a bowl. When I make salad, things are incredibly simple. I don't normally go any more overboard than this. Although sometimes I add cucumbers or tomatoes or other vegetables on top. But yeah, I don't do any of that fancy salad stuff. Now, the instructions say to go on until the crust is brown and the filling is bubbling. And that looks like that's happening right here. So we're done with baking. And that, my friends, is the finished pie. I'm gonna call the rest of the family for dinner. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in my next one.